Hi, I'm Dave Vickers and welcome to the Photo Show. In today's episode we're going to look at updating the firmware on your Nikon camera. Remember, if you like what you see on the Photo Show, please comment, like and subscribe in the boxes below. Let's get on with updating the firmware. Every once in a while camera manufacturers update the firmware versions for their cameras. It's worth doing this because you've paid an awful lot of money for your camera and you might as well have the latest firmware version installed. Now, updating your firmware for the first time can be quite daunting, so what we're going to do today is walk you through step by step how to update the firmware on a Nikon D7100 camera. Now, like all things in life, preparation is the key. So the first thing we're going to have to do is get a few things together before we start. You're going to need your camera with a fully charged battery, a memory card reader, pen and paper, and a beverage of your choice to enjoy while you're updating the firmware. Okay, let's get on with updating the firmware. Okay, so first things first, get your camera, turn it on, make sure we have a full battery so that the battery doesn't run down while we're trying to do this, and go to the menu on your camera. So press menu, and we want the setup menu here with a little spanner, and then come across to that, and right at the bottom of all your options there you have firmware version. So if you click OK, that's then telling us there's two firmware versions. There's the C version, which is 1.01, and the L version, which is 1.009. We're just going to be looking at updating the C version for now, because you can't do the L version until you've updated the C version anyway. So we'll show you how to update the firmware on the C version. Now take your pen and paper and write down the versions that you've got on your camera. So now you can check this against the Nikon website and see what's available. Okay, so now we've seen what firmware version we've got. Now we want to pop in our memory card. So open there for the slot there. We're going to pop the memory card into slot number 1. Pop it into the camera. Little green light flashes to say it's in there. We've got an amount at the top so we know that the memory card is in. Now we need to format our memory card, and you can do it out of the menu, but you also got an option on the Nikons here to use the delete button there and the metering button on the top. They've both got format written next to them, so if you press both of those together, see the screen, press both of those together and it should flash form like that. Press it again and you formatted the card. So now we've got a freshly formatted card ready to start doing the update on your camera. Okay, that's that stage done. So next we'll move on to the next part. We need to go to the computer and look at the Nikon website to see what updates we've got available. Okay, we're on the computer now, and I've already made myself a folder and put it on the desktop here, and I've just called it Nikon D7100 firmware. So we've got this folder, which is where we're going to download the firmware update from. So let's go to your favourite search engine, and we're going to type in here Nikon D7100 firmware update, which we've got come up there, so we'll click that. And you see the top here, we've got D71 firmware update, Nikon Europe, because I'm in Europe. If you're in America, go to the American site, and that should take us straight to the page here. So I'm now on the Nikon page for the D71 firmware update, and you can read all this to go through, and it will give you instructions on how to update your firmware as well. It tells you what the firmware will do. So there's the latest version of the firmware. If it's already installed in your camera, don't worry about it. And it also tells you about the L version, which is the second version, but you can't update that until we've updated this first part now. So you've got some basic instructions here on how to do it, which is what we're going through today. And firmware upgrade instructions. If you're comfortable with the process of upgrading your camera, use the basic instructions. If you require more support, use the detailed step-by-step instructions, which contain helpful images linked below. So this is the basic instructions. Create a new folder with the appropriate name on your computer's hard drive. We've already done that. So it basically says to download the Windows folder if you're running Windows, or the Mac folder if you're running Mac. create a folder called, it will create a folder called the D71 update, which contains the D7100 underscore 0102.bin file, and that's the file we're looking for to update our firmware. Okay, so we'll go here. We've got the Windows version here and the Mac version there. It says, you agree to the terms and conditions by clicking the download. And like everyone, I always read the terms and conditions. No. So we're going to click I agree, and we're going to save that file. So it's downloaded the file. Open that folder. There we have the folder that we need. Right, so now that we've got that folder downloaded, let's move that across into our firmware update folder there, and we'll open that up, and there we've got the, let's run that now, and there it's given us a D7100 update. Double click that, and now that contains the bin file that we were looking to download. Okay, so now we've downloaded the file from the Nikon website and we've got that on your computer stored safely. You're going to take your memory card that you formatted, take it from the camera, and we're going to pop it into our card reader. So that's the card in the card reader, and we'll now go back to the computer. Okay, so our card's now in the computer, so we're just going to find where your card is. We've got it there as the Nikon card, and we'll bring that across to one side like that. And we'll open up our folder that we've stored the bin file in as well, and we'll put that to one side. We're going to the D71 update folder there, double click that, and there is your bin file. And what we want to do is we want to copy this from this folder to the top level of this, so not in the DCIM folder, in the top level of the memory card file. Let's drag it across to there, and that will copy it in there for us. Okay, so now our firmware update is now on the memory card for putting back into the camera. So we can now eject the memory card and go back to working with the camera. Okay, so now we have our memory card that now contains our updated firmware on it. Pop that into memory slot card 1 on your camera. Turn the camera back on. And again, we're going to go back to the menu and we're going to look for the firmware part. So we're still on that. Press OK. And now you see we've got an option at the bottom that says update. So come down to that, press OK, and it tells you the current version and the one we're updating to. So we're updating from 1.01 to 1.02. So we come up to yes, press OK, we get a warning saying do not turn the camera off during the update. The update will take several minutes. And this is the reason why we need a full battery for doing this, because if the battery shuts down halfway through the updating, then obviously we're going to have some sort of issue. So we'll let this update now. As you can see, we've got the bars coming across. Ten bars. Now that's taken approximately 3.5 minutes for it all to go through. Update complete. Turn camera off. So let's turn the camera off. Now we'll turn the camera back on again. And we'll go back to our menu. And we're back on firmware version. Firmware version, and you can see now we've updated the C version to C 1.02. And that's how you update the firmware on your camera. The only thing left to do now is to reformat the card again so you're ready to start shooting. And there we have it. So let's make sure we do that. Let's put that back up to the top there. Let's reformat the card one more time. So we take all of the information off that we put on there. So hold the delete button and the menu, the metering button on the top until you see form flash on the screen here. There we have it. Push them both again. We've formatted the card, and there we have it. We've updated the software on our Nikon camera. Okay, there we are. We've updated the firmware on our camera and we're all up to date. The process is the same for any Nikon camera, and I'm sure Canon's pretty similar as well. Just go on their website and have a look at the instructions posted there. Until next time, I'm Dave Vickers. See you soon.